everybody, and welcome back to Omni Legacy, or Rogue Legacy, but New Game Plus! With all the traveling that I was doing this week, I'm finally back home, and, but, you know, I just kind of got in for this episode, so I've decided that Rogue Legacy is what I feel like playing. We are a Barbarian King, so we've got a lot of HP, but we don't do as much. Hey everybody, sorry about that. I guess you don't really know what that was, but unfortunately, while recording this episode, my mic decided to cut out pretty much right there, and I was so focused in playing the game that unfortunately I didn't, yeah, I didn't notice. So that means that I didn't want to leave this episode completely without any sort of audio to it. So I'm going to be narrating it after the fact. This is the first time I've actually done anything like this. There was one episode a while back that kind of lost all its audio because the file corrupted, and I managed to recover the video, but not the audio, and it was already too late. It was already on YouTube by the time that I realized what had happened. Luckily, I actually noticed right before I finished this episode, like literally as I was doing the wrap-up, I looked over to hit the stop button on the recording and noticed that the mic level wasn't increasing and decreasing like you would normally hear when normally doing a recording. Unfortunately, this means that a lot of my thought process is kind of lost. So I'm going to try and give a decent commentary on this one, but unfortunately knowing how everything goes kind of ruins a little bit of the, I want to say the genuineness, which isn't the right word, but how genuine it feels as a commentary. So basically, I'm going to try and stream of consciousness cast something that I've already played. It's going to be an interesting experience for everyone. I'm really sad it happened, but I'm going to try and make the best of it. So in this episode I'm a Barbarian. As I said, I've got a lot of health. I don't have all that much in terms of damage or spell damage, basically. So yeah, we're basically working with this gigantic health pool, which is what gives a huge advantage, though. As you noticed in the previous room, when I picked up that drumstick, it was 100 health. I think it's 102 health, which is pretty ridiculous in terms of what you basically recover from it. It pretty much means that that hit was pretty bad right there, that 83 damage that I just took, but one drumstick heals that off, whereas if I was playing as a dragon, which I think I had, what, like 126 HP, that's pretty much all my health. If I was playing unwisely, I just got one shot. You know, I was sitting at 2/3 health and I died. So having this huge health pool is pretty nice. In this room, I was convinced that I was going to take damage, and I was correct. But yeah, that's why I like Barbarians, and I think I mentioned that at the end of the last episode as I was picking a Barbarian. But having 680 health is pretty darn ridiculous. Take shelter underneath there so I don't have to dodge as many things. I really don't know how I'm going to cast this thoroughly, because normally I can use the excuse that I'm caught up in the action and not be saying anything. Because in this episode, there are some pretty sick dodges without giving too much away. Wow, that did 100 damage to me? There's no way that's correct. I must have read the wrong number there, because I think it was 123, which is not damage. But yeah, there you go. Another 100 HP just off of a drumstick, and bam, I'm almost full again. Find the first boss room, pick up a bunch of gold. We're going to leave those statues for later. My health is fine, my mana's fine, so we're just going to let them be, and hopefully I can use them later to great effect. Hint, I do. Here we go. Fountain. One fountain. That's going to give us, basically it's double a health potion or drumstick or mana potion. So it's basically two of those in one, but it's a one-use thing. That's unfortunate. We're getting hit a lot in this room. Unfortunately, trying to dodge all those flame blasts, and this pyrite is just a pain. We do eventually get it. Unfortunately, you can't really jump up into that area because those are 80 points of damage that we'd be taking if we get hit by that. And the fireballs, while not ideal, you never actually want to get hit. It's still 20 damage. So if we can avoid that, we took maybe 3 hits of that, which is still better than 1 hit from a sword. The one with big guys. because that was like the tier 2 version of the Grey Knights or whatever. So we're going to continue to the castle. About this time, I start noticing that the pictures, look at these pictures looking to the right, and then there's the one looking to the left that's fake. This is the first time I noticed this. I thought it was a pretty interesting insight, because when we look at this one, oh, that one's also looking left. And this is where I'm pointing it out. Oh, that one's facing right. This one's facing left. Oh, and it's fake. It's a really interesting pattern, and I'm not sure if it holds. But it was interesting, and that one's facing right, and it's real. Unfortunately, my use of invincibility frames was not very well done there. A nice 1,200 gold right there. Gonna have to dodge these spike balls, but we managed to get through the right pattern. Here is our entrance to the Maya. And then I mentioned how, oh, it's nice having those little heads up that, oh, fire's coming down, because, you know, that run that we had tunnel vision, and it didn't end up so great for me. Either way, we're going to continue with the castle. I love this room. I absolutely hate this room. We just took 50 damage for no reason, basically. Oh yeah, that's right, and it was the dead end. This room is a dead end. We ended up taking almost 100 damage. I was convinced that there was going to be another path through the castle, because the only other door is really low. So it's like the castle is mostly up. And, you know, I was expecting there to be another way out. But nope, this is in fact the correct direction. And we find another fountain. This is the second fountain we found. But that means we have a grand total of like 400 health sitting in fountains, which is pretty darn good. Unfortunately, I can't actually reach that with a sword. Luckily, my savant ability of rotating through spells doesn't give me with anything too terrible, and I don't have to waste much mana. And look at that, just a random chicken leg. Suddenly I'm in a perfect, you know, I'm in a great position. There's a fairy chest in that room for not taking any damage. We're gonna come back to that one. I'm a little bit more focused on clearing out the castle. Maybe I'll use a spell that'll end up being more advantageous. And it'll switch to, my current spell will switch to something a little bit more advantageous. Since we are a barbarian king, we don't have all that much in the ways of magic damage. Just like our normal attack damage is a little bit muted, so is our magic damage, which means that it'll be a little hard to take things out with that. But even so, if we can get the right spell and kill some of those, it'll be a lot easier to possibly take the damage. And bam, another random chicken leg, and all of a sudden we're almost at full health again. That's the power of having a large health pool. Of course, this is a jukebox room. I said I was going to leave it on Pistol Shrimp, but I think I rotate a few. Yeah. Grim Outdoors is what we've got playing in the forest, and then I think, yeah, Skin Off My Teeth, that kind of sounds like a boss fight, I remember saying. And this is good. Okay, so that chest there, the iron chest. See, and that one's facing left. Unfortunately, the other one is also facing left, the robot. Oh, yeah, that's right. And that one, yeah, see, this one was also facing left. So it's just like, this is more evidence that looking left could possibly mean that it was a doom trip. And then we find a blueprint for the dragon sword, which is pretty darn nice. And then this room, oh yeah, that zombie just kind of came right out of the floor. I didn't even see, even this time, watching it through a second time, only, you know, an hour later, I didn't even see it pop up. I was too busy looking at the cannon sitting right there. So we're trying to get the wizard out from underneath his overhang there so that we can kill him. Another zombie, but luckily we don't effectively telefrag with that one. We're just going to bounce on top of that cannon and kill it. Unfortunately, still got hit by the fireball. And back to that. So we're going to clean up all the stuff in the room, get some more gold, and proceed onward. So here's our first teleporter and the forest. So that's our second teleporter. We saw the Maya. That is not the mini boss painting. I make a really bad joke about how it may or may not be facing left. Unfortunately, didn't quite manage to dodge around the plant. Those acid balls are kind of hard to dodge sometimes. And all these spikes on the ground do not help. Especially when the bouncing spike pretty much coordinates really well with where I don't want it to be. Try and jump on that guy, but unfortunately all the spikes on the ground there, the bolts from the eyes, I'm trying to dodge those and completely miss the fact that that spike ball exists. So we go for the major threat there, which is the thing that can shoot through walls. And luckily, parts of the slime come to me, which is even better. And it means that we're going to get some of our health back. I mean, we're pretty much already dead if we were any other class. And then bam, another chicken leg. I actually totally forgot that one showed up. But look, we're back at 90% health, basically. Maybe not quite 90%. But it's close. Oh yeah, this room. Managed to dodge all those on the way up. Unfortunately, we do not dodge them all on the way down. So it's, you know, I think 55 damage is worth of the chunk of gold that we got. But you never know. This room gets stuck. I don't know why they get stuck sometimes, and they make me really nervous when they get stuck because I just expect them to pop right out. Now we've got a fairy chest in here, but because I do not have a third jump or flying, we cannot reach it, which is unfortunate, but it's kind of how it happens. It's just like not getting the right spell and they kill all the enemies in one of those special rooms. Once again, a lot of stuff to dodge in this room. Luckily, the blaze lock decides to come closer, and we managed to pick it off. If it had hung back, it would have been able to shoot at us while we were trying to get in and out of those spike balls, and it would not have gone well. But we get some money, which is always nice, and then one of the spike balls died, as they inexplicably do sometimes. Still don't know why they do that, and we get some health and mana back for it, which is great. I think I just looked real fast to see where we had left to go, and down was the answer, and we found the boss. So, despite the fact that we lost last time, we will likely have a chance to try this time. Trying to make decisions whether or not we fight it now, because I could just take the chicken leg that's in the statue right next to the boss door. That would put us at almost full health. We'd be about 10 down. But I think I'm going to clear out the rest of the forest first. Usually standard operating procedure. You also have to remember that if I do take a bunch of damage, which of course I'm going to do a great job. Oh, this part. I remember this. I have no idea how I didn't take damage in some of this. There's some good dodges. Then of course I do take some damage, but still. Some of that was just pure blind luck of the fireballs not going in the right place. Either way, we do have, you have to remember, a bunch of chicken legs just kind of sitting around. Not literally, they're in the statues, but we found 2 teleporters so far, 2 checkpoints. One between the castle and the Mayan, one between the castle and the forest. So that's 2 chicken legs, 2 drumsticks, that's 200 health of recovery there. Plus we've got 2 fountains, which on top of that is, you know, another 400 healing. And that's not to mention the mana that I would recover as well. So here I'm figuring that half the forest isn't out that one door, and it's probably on the other side. And I'm pretty, you know, I end up being correct. There's forest here. Unfortunately, we can't really easily reach into that side. My sword might have been able to make it, but I wouldn't have gotten any of the gold, so there's really no reason to continue. This room was just really tall. I don't know how I didn't take damage there. And then, of course, I go ahead and take damage right there as I jump out the, I can't remember what their name, even though the health bar was right there. And we managed to take care of these. These are a lot easier to kill from below, and the platforms are thin, which means that we can just attack from below. I can't believe I took damage there. Like, I remember that I did, but I'm still really sad. I'm a little disappointed in myself for taking damage there. But we're going to look at these rooms over here. We've got some chain of simple rooms, which is always good. Another really simple room. I was expecting zombies to rise out of the floor or something. Here we go. Here's a tougher room. Unfortunately, I am going to get hit by some fireballs here. When the 2 are aligned like that, they just... The timing of when they fire is the issue. If they fired in such a way that their bullets reached each other, so if they basically had a 50-50 split, and chicken leg takes us to full health, which is beautiful. If they had a 50-50 split, like one fired, then one fired, then one fired. Oh yeah, darkness. Suddenly the darkness. I am befuddled by this. The darkness is supposed to be below the castle and to the left of the forest, and yet random darkness. Just in the middle of the forest. The random generation of this map is just the weirdest thing ever. We take some damage here, taking care of these guys. I want to find out their names. The Rages. There are a lot of Rages in this room. This is sort of a preview of the Alexander fight, because Alexander, of course, spawns a bunch of Rages. But as was the problem when I was a dragon and only able to hit 1 or 2 of them at a time, so there was only one that I could hit at a time because the fireball was destroyed. Here, I've got a sword. It hits everything in its range, which is awesome. It's absolutely beautiful. So I'm just adjusting my mic here real fast. Of course, there's a warg there, and we managed to fake it out. It jumps and doesn't end up hitting us. We're gonna have to come back to that since there's no other entrance, so we can just leave that 20 gold there. And yep, we get another blueprint for the Imperial Cape. These are blueprints that we haven't seen yet, obviously, since you can only pick them up once, and they're pretty good from what I remember, which means that we're gonna definitely have some armor upgrades at some point here. Not entirely sure when, but we'll find the right time. And this is a Sawlock. I really don't know why this one's named just Soul. Yes, for sun. That makes sense now. A Soul-lock. Luckily, he didn't fire enough that it forced us either to leave the room or to take damage. This is an incredibly mean room. We've got spikes everywhere. And unfortunately, trying to avoid getting hit by the spikes means I'm getting hit by everything else. So we're going to take the simple and safe approach of just bouncing with a downward sword attack, which is doing approximately half our damage. So you'll notice right here, pretend I didn't just jump and hit the spikes. For some reason, I didn't think I was going to bounce as far away from the stallion as I did. But since 2 half damage attacks took it down to 50%, I figured that one full swing at it would probably take care of it. And I was right, so I didn't actually end up taking any more damage. These guys have been hitting me a lot, but luckily managed to dodge that one. I'm still hoping for a random chicken leg. It would put us basically perfectly at full, since we gotta be reaching the end of the forest here. There's gotta be only 2 or 3 more rooms left. Try and take out the warg. It ends up killing itself on spikes, and the archer manages to light me up. That's okay, it wasn't a ton of damage. Come back and take care of this guy. All the great things of bouncing giant spike balls. This was one of those rooms that I was expecting to just basically be the entire, wall. One wall of the room was going to shoot fire, but that one wasn't so bad. Just one little bit. Going slowly, dragging towards us. This archer just shooting 3 arrows straight up in the air, being all silly. And yep, 2 more archers down here. Unfortunately, their layout makes it so that we get hit. But only once. And we get quite a good amount of gold from it. But that is the end of that path, which means that we basically have that one other door that we abandoned last time to continue to explore the forest. Actually, no, there is more than one. There are 2, but they probably... Do they lead to the same room? I think they do. Never mind, I totally lied. I don't perfectly remember, but we're going to take the advantage of having that wonderfully thin platform to slash our sword through it and take care of the slime. This eyeball, unfortunately, gets the better of us, at least a little bit, and then we just we end him without taking another hit. Get some gold. I feel like this is just so much less... This is so much less intense. Although this room is crazy. I take so much damage here because there's just so much going on. So many bones being thrown. That stupid chunk of land. And like Ravizor. But we do finish off the room. And we get the max weight load increase. I remember this. That's the main reason why I don't want to invest money in increasing the amount of weight that I can carry via buying it. I decided with 32,000 I don't want to take a gamble. That risks half your money for a chance of tripling it, so effectively quadrupling your money. I think it's quadrupling? I don't remember. I don't usually do it, usually because when I find it I've got a lot of money. Yeah, that's the forest. That is the entire forest. So that means we either need to use one of the fountains or some drumsticks. But I think I decided that I want to finish out the castle. And here we go. We find another teleporter into the darkness. This is, as I was saying earlier, this is the weirdest map that I have ever seen. Ever. And I really wish that I could have captured the sounds that were me going, what in the hell is going on here? Because I was so confused when I saw this. I don't know why the darkness is in the middle of the forest. I still don't. I remember the layout of the map, obviously. It was only, an hour ago that I played. But still, I look at this and I go, what on earth is going on? Why is the darkness in the middle of the forest? Literally, the forest and the darkness have effectively switched places based on where they are, if you look on the map, which I'm sure I'll pull up soon enough. But yeah, hearing that would have been nice. And I look, here I'm hoping to get some healing, because if you kill 2 slimes, you get 28 healing from each slime, because it breaks into 4 final pieces that pay out. And unfortunately, I get hit twice, which means that the 2 ticks of 30 damage mean that I basically net profited, or I net lost 4 health. But at some point in here, suddenly I'm back in the forest. I didn't go there, but looking on the map, it goes to darkness, forest. No idea why. There's not supposed to be a barrier in between them. There's not supposed to be one of these rooms. There's only supposed to be one of those rooms between the castle and the different levels. Unfortunately, that's not the case. But I do still have somewhere in the ballpark of like 800 points of healing sitting around the castle now. 300 in 900 actually. 300 in transition rooms, those teleporters between the castle and the Maya, the castle and the darkness, and the castle and the forest. That's 300 there. There is about 400 in just fountains, because we got 2 fountains, each of which heal twice, 2 drumsticks. So that's 400 healing for 700. And then we've got, actually no, 1,000, because then we've got 1 drumstick by the finished Kidder boss. Oh, no, only 900. And then another 100 by Alexander boss, which we haven't done. Here I grabbed the Scythe spell, because I'm not sure how this is going to react. Obviously I just tested it right there, and even though I took the Scythe spell, it only changed the first one. It only changed the next one. My Savant skill ability trait, whatever you would like to call it, basically just leads to me rotating and picking up that spell off the pedestal. Just changed my meta. I would be very interested in picking up one of the spells that I don't see when rotating through Savant, so something like Crow Storm. I'd very much like to see how that one works out. Whether or not you just get 1 cast of Crow Storm, or whether it adds it to the rotation. I think that would be interesting. That'd be one of those things that'd be really fun to see. We do have this. That's right. I went back for this fairy chest. This is a take no damage. I was trying to kill everything. Unfortunately, I'm really bad with these guys. However, I do find a drumstick. Unfortunately, this next hit right there is basically the entire drumstick worth of healing. But I still want to finish these guys off, so I'm already... That's 2 hits past healing by the drumstick, 3 hits. So I've taken 75 damage net on this room. 75 damage net for this room, which isn't really nothing was gained from this room. So, a little silly. But that is the castle. The castle is done. And I say... I think I'm debating whether or not to fight the Maya or just go for Alexander the boss. I honestly do not remember what I chose, which means this is kind of fun. I kind of feel like a lawyer almost, because this is like, I should know what I did, but I don't remember quite well enough. Okay, I just used the teleporter to get back to here. No, to get forward here. So I am going to jump into the Maya real fast here. I figure I should clear as much of the Maya as I can, considering that we've got a bunch of healing on the floor. Like, a bunch of healing on the floor. See, I'm still thinking in Isaac terms. I haven't actually played Isaac in a little while because my backlog is so crazy big. But I still think in Isaac terms. I've been doing it for way too long. Yeah, there's a lot of healing. Oh, that was hilarious. There's a lot of healing in this castle, so I'm confident in pushing a little bit further into areas that I wasn't necessarily expecting to fight. So maybe make some extra gold. I have no idea how I didn't take damage from those spikes. I remember that. Oh, that's right, this mini-boss. Mini-bosses are usually really worth it. You either get stat-ups, or you get, new... Oh, didn't quite make that dodge. Or you get new blueprints for better armor. It's usually a reward for a mini-boss. Unfortunately, my spell keeps coming up Blade Wall. I use the Chakram decently, but unfortunately I still only hit him once, and then I get Blade Wall again. Luckily, Blade Wall stops 2 of his charges, which I figure out right about there. And we managed to bait him into dashing one more time. If he had decided to dash to the right, I totally would have gotten hit. Some good jukes going right there. At that point, I just decided to tank him, and very, very luckily, I managed to kill him, because I am currently at 93 health. That is pretty close to dead. Pretty darn close to dead. But as I said, there's like a ridiculous amount of healing on this castle. So I'm just going to grab that drumstick, make me feel a little bit better. I can at least take 3 or 4 hits, so long as it's not from a mini-boss. This is one of those rooms that's really nice to have. You need axes to finish this one off, because I can use scythes to kill those 4, but the last one needs an axe. The arc of the scythes doesn't quite translate right. Doesn't quite work the way you'd want it to. However, because I've got Savant, and I've seen axe before, one of the things that I did at the start here was kind of just throw, or I think it was the end of last episode, I started throwing a bunch of spells. And one of the things that rotates through is, in fact, axe. Which means that all I have to do is actually use a spell here and there, and eventually it'll show up as an axe, and I can go back and I can finish it. Since I don't use spells a ton, it's not like I'll be really pressured to use that axe. And it's a free stat up when it happens. Well, maybe a stat up. Probably a stat up. It's fairy chest, so at this point it is a stat up. I'm pretty sure the knock up from the knockback, that little arc that it kind of pokes it, saved me from getting shot in the face with that arrow, because that was really close. Pretty sure that hit the top of my helm. Unfortunately, that Glacian managed to hit me with his spell. That's fake. There's no way that's not fake. They're looking at the map and just looking at it. It's in such a weird position. Unfortunately, it did hit, and we also get hit by that, which was really unfortunate. So we're back down to about 100 health. So we're kind of sitting on the danger zone. But I tried to use my spell there and ended up with an axe. So I'm just gonna go all the way back and get that stat up. Because if for some reason I manage to get myself killed, I'd really rather have the stat up before I die. And bam. So we get some mana point increase. It's not actually... I'm still trying to figure out exactly what that stat is all involved with, because there is int, which increases your damage. There's the magic damage stat. And then there's MP, which seems to increase your damage, but also increases your mana, but it's not a 1-to-1 ratio. I'm pretty sure the way it works is that the class is ratioed to your score in the stat. We got a ninja to deal with. Unfortunately, it was pretty much either get hit by the ninja and kill the plant, or get hit by the plant and kill the ninja. That is fake. There is a real chest all the way at the end of this, but that one was not it. I would not have totally cleared out this room had there not been a reward at the end. I probably would have kept on going for at least a little bit, because that was a pretty nasty upper floor to this room. These guys... Excuse me. These guys are pretty much unable to harm me at all. I'm not entirely sure why I used the Blade Wall there. I'm pretty sure I just don't want Blade Wall on the rotation. It's not a spell that I'm particularly fond of. This is a big room. I only have 2, maybe 3 hits left on me, so I really have to play this one careful. And when I've got both these fireball shooters, which I've been really bad at dodging so far this run, and the eyes. We're playing with fire here. We're definitely playing a dangerous game. And there's another eye up there. I want to take care of this Doom Trick. And these dashes are really close. I'm really still, like, looking at that even after the fact, knowing that I managed to dodge that damage, that was so close. I was focused on where enemies were. Unfortunately, I got hit by that, which puts me at 80. I'm really close to dead. I am 1, maybe 2 hits from dead. Sorry, no, I'm definitely at least 2, but I'm not going to feel comfortable after I get hit 1. And unfortunately, oh nice, we got a crit there, so that guy got finished off. We got a Doom Trit on the loose. Ooh, that was so close. Unfortunately, I swing the wrong way, and so now I am in lethal territory. I drop the Wade Wall. the Doom Trit just runs right into it, but I have to leave. If I get hit one more time, that's, you know, anything stray. You know, I make a misjudgment on spike, something like that. So I want to line this up dead center so I don't hit any walls and just fall right through. We'll probably, I think I go and grab a fountain. I don't entirely remember. At this point, because I have such a huge health pool, the chances of me perfectly regenerating it, killing enough enemies that I can actually, you know, take care of all my health. I have to kill almost 100 enemies to heal that all back up. Which, that's a lot. That's a lot. So we're gonna go back, I think I'm gonna... Sorry, I am yawning. I was not planning on staying up this late, but I did not want to release a video without audio. I didn't want to do that. Unfortunately, since I don't know my thought process here, I don't know if I'm thinking about going back or if I'm thinking about fighting the boss. That's kind of like the big debate going on in my head right now. But I am using up most of the healing on the floor, so I use the other fountain. This puts me in range to use one more. I believe I'm just going to go for the boss here. I believe I am going for the boss. Because I'm just going to take the teleport that I just accidentally went the wrong way towards to go to the boss, and there is a statue there that has a drumstick. So we are going to go fight Alexander. Now this fight killed us last time because we got overwhelmed by the rages. This time we are going to see exactly how well we can do. Just the advantage of having the large hitbox of, well, the larger hitbox of a sword and the piercing. I am doing some good damage here. Even though I am a barbarian king and I am limited in how much damage I can do, just because that's not how the class is, I'm killing the rages pretty fast, and Alexander's already at half. Unfortunately, could not avoid that, but oh, there's a lot of rages building up. I really want to take care of them. They're actually making it really hard to get to the place that I want to, which is below and at an angle, so I can actually just stand there and beat on Alexander. He's, oh man, we were just eating through his health. He's almost dead. He's 1 hit from dead. I don't think I noticed that he was 1 hit from death. I was just focused on not taking damage, and yep, bam. Alexander defeated. Glorious. And that was easy. And it was worth about 7,000 gold. Pretty darn sweet. Obviously, I remember that I defeated Alexander and then moved on to the Maya. Kind of mixed up which order I did some of that in. Turns out I did some of the Maya and then came back. But that was a good fight. This gives me confidence. It's possible for me to, maybe reach the boss in the Maya. That's what I'm thinking right now. I'm going, well, the boss in the Maya, if you remember, is Ponce de Leon, which is a little bit more about dodging fire, dodging the flames if he drops on the ground. After playing against Ponce de Freon, I'm sitting here going, that was a hard fight. Excuse me. That was a hard fight, and they gave us a lot of mobility. But do we have enough mobility here? We've got quite a good chunk of health, but we still haven't actually found the boss. So who knows what state I might actually be in. We have used a vast majority of the healing. We used about 600 of the 900 healing. Now granted, if we find the boss, that's another 100 there. But the Maya isn't a pushover. It certainly isn't, and I'm taking 30 damage a tick on these guys. And I'm doing still a terrible job of dodging them. I don't know what it was. Oh, but look, there you go, another fountain. This was the run of fountains, and then the boss room. So we just added another 300 healing onto, I believe, the 200 we have left or so. So we've still got a huge chunk of healing. So I'm going, let's go ahead and continue. Let's clear the Maya. Let's do some damage. I'm gonna take care of these guys. They're doing quite a bit of damage. It's very clear at this point that the castle is scaling. Like everything else, as you travel further into the different levels, the enemies get harder, but also obviously between the different levels they get even harder. And bam, random drumstick, random 100 healing, glorious. But yeah, so it's taking a lot of hits to kill some of these enemies, which means that these things are going to start taking longer. Those pyrites used to take 3 hits, now they take 4. I'm not really sure if I can actually get through this. Obviously, I know. See, this is why I don't like this style of casting, because I know how this episode ends. I know exactly where this episode ends, and I have to pretend that I don't. And I have to not drop hints that I know either. I should have just tried to pretend to cast this like I hadn't lost my audio. Let's see if you guys could have figured it out. Without knowing that I have pre-knowledge, unfortunately, because I forget what I'm doing here, I can't sound authentic like that. So I'm not going to bullshit you guys about whether or not this was cast live. Technical difficulties happen, and I hate that they happen, and I really hate that I didn't notice this sooner. But such is life, and I hope you guys understand. I don't know how many of you are going to watch this one, but I really hope if you pick any episode to watch this one, because, I mean, I guess in recent history, Kidder was the last boss I killed, so this is the next one where a boss dies. So it's, you know, it's another quarter of the game finished. Quarter of a game of New Game Plus. So I guess it's really now an eighth of the game. This is the second time through. Either way, we are, just as a note, we are up at 70,000 gold. We have made quite a bit of money. I'm confused as to why this room is so tall when there's no extra content. It feels like there should be another level or floor, especially when this one is so big. And we have not cleared all of the Maya, unfortunately. I'm just going to use this teleporter to pop over back to the start so we can get closer. If we don't take all that much damage, I might even be able to just enter the boss like this. Maybe. We'll have to see. Depends how much damage I take and how much I heal. Because every single health can matter sometimes. If you ever end up in a situation where you're at like 3 HP, it's just like, if I had been a little bit lazy somewhere, I'd be dead right now. Sorry, the second hour of talking has actually been pretty rough on my voice. And I do not have any water next to me. That was the new boss room. So we've got one room up top, the one that we had to bail out of early because I was damaged and didn't want to die. There's that one that we've got left to clear. That is the last room. Oh, by the way, by this point I have disproven my original theory about directions of Doom crits. We've seen quite a few that have faced in the other direction. I still think it might have to do with the actual specific portrait. Like, there is one direction for a portrait to be, and the other one is the Doom crit. But keeping track of those easily is pretty hard, and it's a lot easier to just see whether or not they're wiggling, or whether they're layered suspiciously against the background. Like, if you've got a portrait in front of a bookcase, something might be up. Alright, so this is a no jumping room, which means if you behave very carefully, you can dash. Unfortunately, I needed to take one step back there to make that, and so of course when I jump and get off the spikes, I get stuck. I don't think flying bites you. If I remember correctly, we had a room like that when we were a dragon, and it was totally okay with it. And then immediately into another fairy chest room. This time another take no damage, although instead of enemies, we have a bunch of spike balls. And I managed to make it all the way there for some health. Fairy chests being stat increases is amazing. It's really sweet, and it does so much for you, and I'm still surprised I managed to make it up that. I think even more so in retrospect that I managed to dodge those three. The fact that they converged just barely behind me and didn't actually run into my hitbox. But that is the Maya. We have cleared the Maya. Save for the boss, of course. Did I really actually walk all the way back? I should have just used the teleport like I did last time to get out. But, you know... Oh, never mind. That's right. I did notice. There's a room or two, I think in this case, that we didn't finish. That's fake. It's not on the map. Ooh, sorry about that. Now, once again, thin floors make for dead enemies. Pretty convenient. So I lied again. It's more than 2 rooms. It's at least 3 now that I had missed. These pyrites are going to die eventually. Alright. Another jukebox. I'm not going to change the music. It's interesting and it's fun if you've got a song that you really like. I get so focused on playing the game that I don't really notice the music. I definitely notice when the music creates ambiance, but noticing the music actively and like hearing the song, not so much. So I was like, I don't know if I crit there. I did. And then I go, well, I'll check and see if I can kill the other one hit. But then I crit that one. So in retrospect, I know that I crit them both. But at the time, I was a little confused as to whether or not I'd actually crit the first one, and had no way of actually finding out after critting the second one. Good stuff. It was a lot funnier the first time when I was actually kind of like, ugh, and now I can't find out. So, fountain that we will eventually use. I do decide to waste 80 points of recovery, or sorry, 23 points of recovery for entering the boss. Alright, Ponce de Leon. So Ponce de Leon, of course, is annoying as hell. He follows you around and slowly drops fire, and occasionally, like a pyrite, he charges you. He's doing 66 damage a tick to us every single time he hits, which puts us at approximately 10 more hits. And by approximately, I mean we get exactly 10 more hits before we die. But after playing Ponce de Freon, whose trail lasts significantly longer, this is actually kind of refreshing. Granted, we have significantly less mobility, but we are still chunking. He is at half health, despite the fact that, well, now we're at half health too. We were doing a lot better before. Unfortunately, I could not get through that before in time. So we just gotta try and keep chunking him down. This whole dash swing thing is beautiful. I love how much damage it does. Unfortunately, I don't think that actually does. So we're gonna try and weave back across the stage, forcing him to leave this trail somewhere that we're not planning on being anytime soon. Because that's kind of the trick. And of course, we can watch his trail disappearing, which means that we've got ample room over here. Could probably tank him out here, but up there we go. One more hit, he is dead. I don't know if those can still damage me, but I'm not going to take the risk. I didn't even check how much. That was about 10,000 gold it had to be. We are at 85,000. We get 2 armor increases of 2, which is awesome, and then a magic damage increase. So that's 2 bosses. We got 2 bosses in a single run. Can we get 3? Can we get 3? Because that would be awesome. Hell, we could maybe even beat the game. I'm going to grab this. That way I don't have to backtrack to it. As I said earlier, it's really unlikely that I'm ever going to fully heal myself. Unless I find a lucky chicken leg. I'm not going to do it just by killing stuff. So of course I start going the wrong way. We're in the crazy darkness. We are going up through the darkness instead of down through it. I don't know. As I said, this is one of the weirdest map generations that I've ever seen. The forest and darkness basically switch. Oh, that's right. That's where we grabbed the scythes. Defeat all enemies. Alright, so this isn't like there's a ton of enemies there. There are 2 very important enemies. So I just throw that knife, get an axe. Okay, get another knife. I'm looking for a chakram. I can use a chakram. Oh, that's right. Or I can stealthily use scythes. And bam, another armor increase. Armor increases are awesome. Armor increases mean that we take less damage. Ah, ninja. And that's another iron chest, which means that we should get something good out of it. And it is. It is a mana point increase, MP increase. And we barely avoided taking damage there. Nice simple room, and random chicken leg puts us almost at full health. I'm debating whether or not to actually take that, because if I get Sonic, I'm gonna hate myself. Because as a barbarian, you have so much health that to die you have to take a lot of hits, and taking a lot of hits means losing a lot of gold. But being the gambler that I am, luckily we end up getting Hermes boots, which means that instead of... I actually don't remember what Hermes boots do. I'm still not entirely sure because I didn't actively test them. Oh, daggers. I'm really bad at the daggers game. This is exactly what I said when I was playing this for. I'm really bad at the daggers game. Then I get 1 in a row, 2 in a row, 3 in a row. This can't last forever. 4 in a row, and miss. And miss. And miss. Oh, and miss. And while we're at it, I've got 4 knives, 5 targets, miss. Oh, got it, finally, but then miss and miss. I started off really strong, and then did not continue strong. I originally thought that Hermes boots let you walk on the floor spikes without setting them off. That gets disproven at some point here in the near future. I think they actually just let you walk on floor spikes. This is another really obnoxious room with that rage and yeah, I think it just lets you walk on like normal big spikes that are on the ground. Alright, so we have found the 3rd boss. We have found the 3rd boss of the run, and the 4th boss overall. Oh god, this room. Yep, this room has so much going on, and there's spikes on the ground, there's the Gray Barons. I just get murdered by that one. 80 damage straight in the face. We've got Gravazor is forcing me to move a lot. I've taken almost half my health in damage already. But I've got to take care of these missile launchers. I'm getting hit for quite a bit of damage by a lot of different stuff. It's really dangerous walking over there because that Gray Knight or Gray guy is going to do tons of damage to me. Walking on the top is just dangerous, so dangerous. We're just going to drop down, take care of that missile launcher, nice and clean. I'm using some mana here, trying to take care of some of these guys. Unfortunately, Scythe is not quite perfectly straight, so I can't take care of those missiles right away. I don't want to cross back over. There is the spiked ball chain guy who's going to prevent me from dropping down easily. And I can't attack him from beneath because of the missile launcher. And there's another spiked ball guy over there on the bottom. So this is going to be difficult all around. Barely eke through there. Luckily, we already did some damage to him, so he dies immediately, and we can take care of this nightmare. Literally, it is a nightmare. From beneath, which is really nice. We've got a lot of spike balls to dodge here. I'm trying to pick up that 20 gold without getting hit. So we gotta time this right. Tried to use a sword wall. But, oh yeah, that's right. We managed to get a throwing knife, which I just kind of pop up and kill that missile launcher with. Which gives me a lot more peace of mind. It means that I can try and take care of this machine text. I'm going to learn the names of these guys eventually. This is one of the balls died. As you notice, I got the random health and mana. I'm going to learn these guys' names eventually. Some of them I know, just because they're enemies that you can actually look at the health bar. Some of these you just get so into fighting them that you if you spend the time looking at the health bar, you're going to take some damage. Whew, so that was close. We took a lot of damage in that room. We took basically down to half health, but we did it for a strength increase, which is about 6,000 gold worth at this point. That's how expensive it is to buy strength, if I'm remembering. So it's good to know, and I actually think it's actually 3,000 because strength increases it by 2. Grab that missile launcher. This is a really interesting room because of the step down. We do have room at the end. He's going to be able to get one throwing star over there if he's too close. The other two will hit. Waiting for him to throw so I can get into the gap there and take care of him. Fortunately, it takes me too long, and his cooldown comes up and manages to hit me right in the face. I'm going to try and drop down. Don't really know what's down there, so it's hard to say, because if there's spikes down there, I'm going to have to immediately react. Wait for them to use their spikes. Luckily dodged that. Instead of throwing stars. Unfortunately, the hitbox of the Nightmare extends just a little bit past the edge of the platform and manages to get me. But the ninja is too tall and gets his head lopped off. Very nice. Nice chunk of gold there. Got a lot of bouncing spike balls, but I'm not too concerned. We're not getting hit by them unless they're literally like at chest level, which means that we're pretty safe. They move kind of slow. They're not bouncing in weird directions, they're bouncing very Another rage, lots of rages. Another ninja. Trying to take care of him before he can throw more stars. Luckily managed to, at least managed to dodge them. Let's try and get that gold without leaving the room. There's spikes on that, so I gotta be really careful. Stay moving. Don't know how I dodged that. I still end up getting hit just because I actually ran into the ninja. However, how I dodged those stars, I'm not entirely sure. But we are actually running pretty low on health. The stuff here is doing a lot of damage. We're down to 200 health, which is more than we've had in some cases. But we are running out of space for rooms for darkness. As you can see here, there's only so many rooms can fit into that space. Take care of these pyrites without getting hit by the Grey Knight. Sorry, the Grey Baron. Luckily, he's only the second tier of those guys. The third tier, the biggest ones, can basically cast a spell in their last swing of the sword. And then we're back to the boss room. So there's one more room this way. Excuse me. I totally didn't notice that missile launcher there. I was too focused on the pyrite. So when I jumped down, I just got nailed in the face. There is one door left. One door left. I'm gonna go explore it. But I realized that I should just go back and clear that room and get that chest down there so that I do not have to backtrack too far. I'm gonna go find at this point. I figure the worst case is I get hit once by the fire, which doesn't do a ton of damage. Don't know exactly how much that was. Couldn't see because one of the other fireballs was in the way. But we're going to make our way to the last door that is left unexplored and see how many rooms are left. Hopefully carefully make our way through here so we don't take any extra damage. There is still a decent amount of healing, but we are also in the darkness. Maya is a the darkness is a dangerous place. It hits really hard, and who knows how strong that boss is going to be. If you don't remember, the boss is going to be Herodotus, which is the slime. The Neo version of it was Astrodotus, which was of course the Asteroids game, which was amazingly fun. However, I don't think that Herodotus is nearly as easy as Astrodotus. It was fun, in my opinion, but it was easy. Alright, Slayer Helm. unfortunately, that spike ball bounced at the worst time. Luckily, though, if you noticed, it was only doing 14 damage. That's not very much. Unfortunately, this room is crazy. I thought I was going to die in this room. I might die in this room. I'm not going to tell you. I said I thought I was going to. I sometimes think correctly. Unfortunately, my bluff isn't all that great. That ended up being just fine. But I'm going to still be playing it safe because I don't want to take damage that I don't have to, basically. With the Grey Baron doing 80 damage a tick, that could put me in a really bad situation. Because I think there's only 300, maybe 400 points of health spread across what we have left. The statues that we know for sure will pay out. But we just broke 100,000 gold. That's pretty sweet. With pretty much nothing left to explore, we break 100,000. Awesome. I actually think that is it. There are no more rooms. There are no more rooms. Oh, and then, yep. Random spike ball death. Thanks, game. I still don't know why that happens. Trying to avoid some damage in here. And we're just going to start healing up as much as we can. There should still be one fountain left. I don't remember exactly where it is, so you don't get question mark rooms on the teleporter map. This is the closest question mark room. And it is one that we've already used. So it's probably the one by the boss room, which is just above us and below the top. Make our way. This one actually go the right way. And there we go. 200. I think there is one more chicken leg, one more drumstick at one of these transitions. I could be wrong. Obviously, already in-game me knows that there aren't any. So on to Herodotus. So can we get 3? Can we get 3 bosses in one? Herodotus the Infinite. So my strategy here is going to be pretty simple. I'm trying to basically do as much control as I can. Unfortunately, I just got wrecked by those spikes. I don't want to split it up too much early because every single time it splits, it makes one of these Gravazors, and they're taking 3 hits to kill. They do give me 7 health though, which is really nice. The pieces of Herodotus aren't going to give me health until I actually kill them. So I finish them off until they're not splitting. Which means it's going to be a while before I actually get health from them. But because they're spawning those Gravazors, I'm going to be able to get some health as the fight progresses. However, they're Gravazors. I hate Gravazors. You guys should know by now. I'm trying to stay in the air as much as I possibly can, which means that when they try and figure out, when the AI goes, hey, where should I drop this spike, it's going to end up somewhere random, somewhere that hopefully I won't land on because I'm in the middle of the air. They're either going to drop it below me, which if I'm transitioning from one direction to another, you know, if I'm flying all the way across the map, something like that, unfortunately, then hopefully it'll miss, it won't end up beneath me, and I'll be fine. That was really close. I probably shouldn't have taken that gamble. I'm also getting gold from them, which is pretty nice. But these guys are starting to get smaller. I see some that are at basically a killable state, but they also, unfortunately, have like barely enough jump height to reach pretty much all the platforms, which is the design of the boss. If you could just trap the boss on the bottom, you know, you'd be fine. Unfortunately, Blade Wall is not the spell I want. Chakram is the spell I want. By launching it out that way, it actually came across and hit everything on the bottom, at least once, which isn't too bad. Hopefully, I mean, you could see the health bars cycling through there. Unfortunately, I am face tanking a little bit more than I want to here. Just a little bit. And unfortunately, I caught that Chakram. If you catch it, it doesn't go all the way back. We've still got some Gravazors hanging out, but now it's mostly just tiny chunks of Herodotus. And they are lethal. They're only doing 35 damage. That was another good, very nice Chakram. But 34 damage is, I mean, that's still 5 hits. I I can get hit 5 more times. And because I'm getting 7 health left, 7 health back every single time I kill something, if I kill 5 things, it basically earns me another hit. So I think I actually did succeed in earning another hit. 5 hits would be 175. So yeah, actually no, I'm still at 5 hits. If I kill one more thing though, without getting hit, mind you, then I will end up with enough health to survive 5 hits, and then have the 6th hit as an option. Which, if I give it, pretty much happens right there. So yeah, this is really intense. When I was originally casting this, I'm silent through a very large portion of this fight because I'm trying to make sure that I'm not stepping on the spikes. I totally baited that one. I remember that. I was like, it's gonna jump at me. I just need to wait for the right moment and duck and swing. I'm down to 3 hits. If I get hit 3 times, I die. Down to 2 hits. I'm counting too while I'm fighting. I'm not paying attention to the health I'm regaining. So technically I'm up to 3 hits right now, but I had no idea. I was like, I'm sitting on 2 hits. And we got 1 chunk left. Bam. Gold everywhere. Luckily, you cannot take damage in this fight once you've killed him. You are invincible in this room. So the fact that I hit all those spikes didn't even matter. We are at 115,000. 3 bosses. This run is amazing. You can see why I'm really sad that I lost. The audio. It just sucks. 3 bosses. We got 3 bosses. And one of the things that I bring up is if I had picked Sir Cowan the first time, I would have been able to get Kidder as well. It would not have been a problem at all. With that health pool, would have been fine. So now, though, we have cleared the entire castle. We've literally cleared the entire castle. There's that mana potion, but other than that, there's nothing else. I'm going through and I'm going to check and make sure that none of those statues are there. I'm literally going from one teleport to another, hoping. But there's, in fact, no other healing remaining. So I even check where I just was, just to be sure. But we are going to go fight the traitor. Doors open. We're going to go try. We're going to try and beat Johannes. It's worth the attempt. I've been playing dumb about whether or not I've beaten bosses. I'm trying to, at least, right? Don't know how well I'm telegraphing. I'm not trying to, be deceitful, but I'm also, casting after I know how the run ends. We've got 1 Grey Knight. I am really hoping, really hoping for a drumstick and to not get hit. I don't know how much damage that would have done, but it would have put us at 1 hit probably. I am hoping that RNGesus decides to drop a drumstick out of one of these chandeliers or sconces. Just something. Anything. And then I decide not to down attack this because double jump. There's a reason it's there. And then this statue is kind enough to drop a mana potion, which is useful, but is not a drumstick. This boss fight is exactly the same. And by exactly the same, I mean, it would be funny if they actually, kind of threw you a bone and, kind of gave a head nod to the fact that it's a new game plus. But they don't. It's exactly the same. Minus the scaling, of course. So we got a drumstick. So the run is significantly better. If we manage to beat this phase of Johannes, then we will get a bunch of drumsticks will fall on the ground. We are at 1 hit to dead. We are at 1 hit to dead. I'm playing this super carefully, and it's going pretty well. Oof, barely dodged that. Luckily, I needed to get across the map. Dodge those. I dropped my own blade wall, and then bam, axe. No Deathify, and there's the run. 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows, 4 rows, a boss, 5 rows, 6 rows with a boss, 7 rows, and on our 8th row, we have Herodotus. This run was absolutely amazing. It was a ton of fun. I'm still really, really sad that I lost the audio for it. I know I keep saying this. The genuine excitedness of managing to reach 3 bosses and then get to the trader was awesome. Picking my heir, I'm tempted to take the one with vertigo, the one that we were just looking at, the one that's upside down. Really tempting, because I want to show you guys that, but it is so hard to play. We don't really need a spelunker. Not all that interested in that. And we've got a trader. Traders are really strong. I think next run is going to be a farming one. Here we're going to look at the equipment, the new equipment that we found. So that's some damage for 30 weight. 19 damage is a good amount of damage. That is a lot of damage. It's really nice. But that 30 weight it's 3 levels in weight. And as I've stated before, I don't like buying weight because eventually it hits a cap where it's not useful. So you might as well find it in the castle, right? Like I did that time. Health and mana at the cost of armor, plus also 4% critical chance, 15% critical damage, and that's 50% damage return. So when we take damage, we return damage to the source of the damage. The royal chest is just a bunch of armor, which is always good. Armor's always nice. We didn't find any new limbs, and then our new cape is the Imperial Cape, which is just 50% critical damage. But it's also, you're losing 27 armor. I decided not to buy any of those just yet, and now it's where to spend $115,000. That is a ton of money. My big candidates here are damage and health. Damage is always good because if you can kill things in fewer hits, you're going to take less damage because you're putting yourself in danger for a shorter amount of time. You know, when there's that clutch situation that you can only get one swing of your sword in, if one level with one more damage would have killed it, and it hits you, well, it sucks to be you. Your lack of damage cost you some health. But at the same time, having a large health pool, we got to see the advantages of a giant health pool this run. Just because those drumsticks heal you as a percentage of your max health, you can get a ton out of having a huge health pool. It's really, really good. Really, really good. So I'm pretty sure I'm just going to be spamming. You're going to see how I distribute the points. I'm kind of logicking this out as well, since I can't explain. I don't know exactly when I do stuff. I'm pretty sure I'm also comparing costs, because right now damage is about $6,000 per level, 6,000 gold, whereas health is 3,000 gold. So with 115,000 though, there's a lot that can be bought. There's a lot that can be bought. So we're just cranking this up. I think I take it all the way to level 50. I think. This is really hard to do in retrospect, this part. More so than anything else. Because I can't sync my sentences here. I'm basically just looking at costs and seeing and making sure that I'm, spending things wisely. I'm at 60,000. I've spent half, and I've put that up like 10 levels. It's ridiculous. So I do end up putting some damage in there, and I'm figuring out what I should do with that last 25,000. Put it in some crit chance. Okay, I only took it to level 40. I knew I took it to a round number. I'm trying to figure out where I can spend that 9,500. Spend it well. I think I put it in crit damage. Yeah. And then I'm 9 gold short. I'm 9 gold short from putting a second one in. I was hoping to get as many levels as I possibly could out of my gold. But I did actually do some paying attention to the fact that one of these cost about 2,600, so I could at least buy it even if I couldn't equip it yet. And I'm just going to take some time to find it. Wow, I didn't even realize that plate was 4,500. The cape is what I saw, that was 2,600, but I'm going to take a quick look and see if there's anything else that's closer to what I'm looking for. 2,400. I was thinking about getting this one, but I think, yeah, the dragon sword ends up being 2,800. So basically that's the most cost efficient that we can get, dropping us down to 11 gold. You know, you want to spend money. We're doing 176 just base damage. We crit for 281. And I'm throwing some daggers, which are hitting for 94 each. There are 5 of them, which means that's almost 500 damage if you know, throw it right into somebody. The axes do 126. Obviously, you're not going to be able to spam them into people like that, but that is some good damage, and our crit chance ain't too bad. Unfortunately, this is about where I realize that I don't have any audio. I'm starting to do the outro right now. I'm going, you know, this was an awesome run. We got 3 boss kills. I'm still flabbergasted by that. And this run, this trader, this is what $100,000 does to your offspring. It makes them a little crazy. In this case, it's a good thing. If it's your actual kids in real life, you might not want to give them $100,000. Who knows what they're going to buy? But this right here is me being disappointed. And as I'm about to run out of time, I just want to say thank you guys for watching. I know this is a very weird sort of thing. This is a weird situation. But I hope that you enjoyed the run. It really was amazing. And I will see you guys next time.